gonna check out. We're just gonna jump into it, and then we're gonna watch Dyson Sphere after. So this video, it appeared in my on my homepage. It was rappers who went broke in the stupidest ways, and I love rap and rappers and stuff like that. It's just intriguing to me. It's very intriguing. I also love hanging, or like whenever I drive or like want to like getting a good groove, I put on some good rap music. And also there's a lot of hardcore rappers, and they often have a background from like the hood or something like that. So it is kind of interesting to see how they went broke, because it's probably in like a great way. They probably didn't get broke and something boring. It's probably something interesting. Oh, the first one is DMX. DMX is so cool, and his voice, it's amazing.
Before filing for bankruptcy,
let's just jump into it, guys.
50 Cent was spending $108,000 per month to rent.
$108,000 a month for rent? 108,000. That in Norwegian kroners, that is like over 1 million kroners on rent, and this is each month. How much money does he make, man? Oh my god, he probably, since he's broke, or like was broke, went bankrupt, he probably doesn't make enough. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, yes. Sorry about Sarah there, but that is life when you have kids, you know. Okay.
Rent an 18-bedroom mega mansion, while T-Pain's bankruptcy was so brutal that by the end of it, he had to borrow money just to buy Burger King.
For real? That bad?
But let's begin by talking about DMX, who had to file for bankruptcy on 3 separate...
how is the song? It's something like... I can't know lyrics. No lyrics. I'm just like melody and vibe all the way. I can a little bit though.
Occasions, as he couldn't afford child support. You see, DMX had 17 children with 11 different women, and almost
17 kids, 11 different women? This is just like... That's mind-blowing. I've heard a story about DMX that he hid all his money in like cash in his mattress or something like that. So he hid it away many places because he didn't want to pay child support and taxes and stuff like that. I've heard that. Rumors might not be true, but it might be true.
Every child resulted in some kind of lawsuit or child support requirement. For example, DMX was sued for 1.5 million worth of child support in 2008 after a genetic test confirmed that he was the father of a previously unclaimed baby, which when combined with his declining music career, resulted in his first bankruptcy filing. 4 years later in 2012, DMX was sued by a different ex-partner for a further $1 million worth of child support, and a year after this,
it is this in America. It might be a little bit like this in Norway as well, but I just don't get how they calculate the amount of child support. And like they also have like something where if you have a wife, I think it could go both ways. Like if you have a boyfriend or like a man, but if you make like a shit ton of money, then they are like have a right to have close to the same lifestyle after you divorce. There's something like that, and that is just mind-blowing to me. Like, what? You have to pay like a shit ton. Whoa. But I feel like as here, child support for a kid, it should be like enough to help share the expenses of the kid, just regular expenses like food and clothes and like extracurricular activities or whatever, stuff like that. Not like millions of dollars. It is it's so much money. It's so much money.
This lawsuit he'd file for bankruptcy a second time. His third bankruptcy would occur in 2016, during which it would be discovered that DMX had racked up a further 1.7 million worth of unpaid child and family support, which accompanied $950,000 in bank debt and 1.7 million worth of tax debt. Since he had $0 in his bank account, DMX was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the child support, a further year in prison for the unpaid.
It is just crazy, like the amount of money that he needs to like pay. The taxes is probably something he needs to pay anyway, like or like child support also, but like the the tax is probably on money he has made or something. So he probably dropped paying taxes. But like, to be able to keep up with that amount of child support, you probably need to, or you have to continue to make like a shit ton of money, I guess, or something. I don't know enough though, but it's just so crazy to me. If he has like a bad month, he's gonna be like stuck in shit. Probably.
Taxes, and was also ordered to pay the government $2.29 million in restitution after he was released from his time behind bars. However, DMX never had the chance to pay the amount back in full, as he died in April 2021, and despite his extensive family tree, DMX never wrote a will, meaning that his family was still involved in money-related legal battles even after he was dead and buried. Tiger was certainly better at managing his child support payments, although he definitely had a weakness when it came to luxury spending. After cultivating his career as a successful rapper, Tiger's name entered news headlines after he'd purchased a $200,000 Mercedes Maybach for his girlfriend.
What's going on here? This is $200,000. What was that? $200,000? This looks like a very regular Mercedes. It's not very flashy. To be like a rapper buying a cool car, this doesn't seem like the coolest car. I'm sorry. It just
$1,000 Mercedes Maybach for his girlfriend, while being $480,000 behind in rental payments on a luxury Malibu home. As a result, Tiger was sued by his landlord, although he'd failed to show up to court as he was on holiday in Turks and Caicos. Yet this situation wasn't the only example of Tiger spending big in one area while being financially behind in another. For example, in 2016, while shopping for a new Bentley, Tiger's Ferrari 458 was repossessed in the parking lot, as Tiger hadn't been.
That is a cooler car. If you're like a rapper. Oh my god, the Ferrari. That is more like it.
Been paying for the loan. Despite this, Tiger would go on to purchase another Mercedes Maybach, as well as a Land Rover, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, and a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, all of which were repossessed for non-payment, while he was seen looking at a brand new Lamborghini. In addition to this, Tiger was sued by a second landlord for $181,000 after once again missing rental payments in 2016, which was followed by a third property-related lawsuit in 2020, where Tiger had racked up over $200,000 in damages and unpaid rent on yet another rental property.
How many properties does he need to rent? It's like, does he like ask himself, can I afford this? I guess not. Is this necessary? Why doesn't he? I don't know. What the hell? Sulg, thank you so much for your follow. I'll give you a kiss. How many? Yes.
It was then revealed that Tiger was being court-ordered to pay for $200,000 worth of unpaid jewelry, which accompanied the accusation by his ex-girlfriend.
Unpaid jewelry as well? Like, wow. This is so many things he just got without, like...
that he'd been missing child support payments, and just to add a cherry on top of the cake, while all of this was going...
I wonder if every single one of these rappers are gonna be missing child support payments. Maybe. I think I'm gonna bet yes.
Down, Tiger was in $890,000 worth of tax debt to the government. Despite all of this, Tiger is still seen flexing a lavish life on social media, which is a luxury unavailable to rap producer Scott Storch, who blew through $70 million in less than 3 years.
$70 million in less than 3 years? That is so much money and so fast. He has a special skill there. He has a really special skill. Wow.
Scott earned this money by producing for some of the biggest names in music, including Kanye West, Dr. Dre, and Jay-Z. Yet Scott Storch's insane net worth began to diminish after he purchased an insane supercar collection.
30 cars, including Bugattis and Ferraris and all that kind of stuff.
As well as a $10.5 million mansion where he housed more than 20 staff, including a boat captain, just in case he wanted to go out on his yacht.
The captain was on full-time staff?
Yeah.
In case you want to take the boat out?
Yeah.
And the boat was how many bedrooms?
7.
7-bedroom boat, worth about how much?
It's not the most pretty boat ever. I'm so sorry. It's okay, but I wouldn't bankrupt myself for this boat, okay? if you understand what I mean.
20 million?
20 million.
Scott went on to explain just how much this lifestyle was costing him.
My monthly overhead for my household employees was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million a month I was spending.
And that if he continued to work, there would have
$1 million a month. And how much is he making? Like, is he making over that a month? And what happens if he doesn't? What the hell? It's so much money. This is a different world for me, you know?
have been any problems, although this isn't what he would do.
It went from me working and delivering to doing drugs and not going to the studio.
I just stopped working, and then I got depressed and jaded.
As mentioned, Scott stopped making music and instead began to get addicted to the nightlife in Miami. And with no money coming in plus $1 million a month going out, it was only going to be so long before Scott hit zero. By 2009, just 3 years after having a net worth of $70 million, Scott had filed for bankruptcy. 6 years later, Scott would file for bankruptcy a second time, claiming to have a grand total of $3,600.
Yeah, that is true, Skalgard. If he gets kicked out after 3 months or so, he needs a lot. Yeah, with the renting, with renting a lot of houses and apartments and stuff, makes sense.
Of assets to his name, $100 in cash, $500 in
$3,600 of assets to his name after like this. $100 in cash, $500 in clothing, and $3K in watches. It's like nothing.
Clothing and a $3,000 watch. Most shocking, his music companies are valued at $0, like, and in 2014 he
after where he was, it's like nothing. It's so sad. He had the possibility to just be made for the rest of his life and have a great life. This is just crazy. It's like lotto millionaires. Their brain hasn't developed enough to handle all the money. Often, some are probably nailing it, but there are some crazy stories there as well.
He made a grand total of only 10.
And he made 10,000 last year. Yeah, that is not great when you have $1 million in monthly expenses. And yeah, I guess I'm just so like surprised, kind of, how this is like possible. It's just so wild to me, because I'm not in this mindset at all. I'm like, I would have been like, holy shit, this is not going great. I'm getting nervous. I need to cut some expenses. I would have done that. But why didn't he do that at all? Like, it just kept on going. Didn't he think he was gonna live for more than 3 years? Maybe, I don't know. It's just so wild. Hello, 𝗦ci𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀. Good morning.
Throughout this hardship, Fat Joe was one of the only rappers to keep their friendship with Scott, possibly because Fat Joe went through a similar situation himself. Fat Joe had earned $1.18 million in 2007, $1.28 million in 2008, $265,000 in 2009, and $630,000 in 2010. However, despite having made this $3.3 million in only 4 years, Fat Joe failed to pay taxes on it. He was able to come up with $718,000 and had also done extensive charity work. However, this wasn't...
It's like the one thing you don't want to mess up is taxes. That is like the one thing that is the most important thing of all. You're never gonna win against the government. Or you can, probably, maybe, but like evading taxes, that is not great. That's not great. That's a recipe for failure, guys. Don't do it.
Enough to satisfy the judge, who sentenced Fat Joe to 4 months in prison. Despite taking personal responsibility for his actions by stating, "There was a lot going on in the years that I didn't file my taxes, but it was my responsibility," less than 4 years later, Fat Joe entered news headlines again after the IRS revealed that he still owed them $1.1 million in taxes. However, this number was absolutely nothing in comparison to Fat Joe's friend Lil Kim, who owed almost 4 times more and became, quote, too poor to file for bankruptcy.
Too poor to file for bankruptcy. Then you've gone through the floor and then continued downwards. It's just wild.
Lil Kim wasn't nearly as successful as some of the other rappers featured on this list. However, this didn't stop her from purchasing a $2.3 million mansion back in 2002, notably with the help of a mortgage. Throughout the 2000s, Kim's music career slowed dramatically, and by 2018, Kim was filing for bankruptcy, as she still owed the full $2 million on her property, despite the 16 years that had passed.
If like anyone that is going into like this world sees this video, please pay your taxes, guys. And also, your career is probably not gonna last until you're 90. It's like rappers and like entertainers and stuff like that. They are a little bit short-lived, like most of them. Some of them are becoming like legend status, and they can last for a long time. But I think like 99.9999999% is gonna be like forgotten or not relevant in a few years. So be careful out there. Put that money in a sock, or I guess in something safer. Whatever. Just don't spend it all on. Don't get high expenses, and don't evade your taxes, please.
In addition to this, Kim now owed $1.85 million to the government for 13 years worth of unpaid taxes, which accompanied a further $185,000 in unpaid legal fees.
It is so
The bankruptcy
much money.
became even worse after discovering that by 2018, Kim was earning a comparatively small $18,000.
$18,000 a month. It's a lot. It's a lot of money, but it's nothing compared to like what she's owing. It is so much money she owes. But this is like a solid, good income for
Per month, of which $2,000 went to staff, another $2,000 went to clothing, and $10,000 went to travel fees, meaning she had less than $4,000 per month to dig herself out of $4 million worth of debt. Somehow Lil Kim managed to, quote, get her finances into good shape, and her bankruptcy filing was dismissed. However, 𝗦ci𝗰𝗶 wasn't quite so lucky.
Yeah, a lot of us would be happy with 18K a month in income. Indeed, it is so much money, but it isn't a lot if you're like have like built up a lot of expenses, and it's harder to chop down expenses than to get them. But there is some growth that needs to happen in here within these people.
Despite having the 5th best-selling hip-hop album of all time, which sold 17 million copies and featured songs such as
Strange that they can be this stupid. Yeah, I understand why you're thinking that. I understand what you're thinking that. Welcome to chat, by the way. But I think, like, if I'm gonna guess just a little bit, I think they are probably. I don't know. This is like hearsay. This is just random guessing. But I'm guessing that they are. They have focused on their creative talents and being artists, probably. Like, and then they probably have someone to manage them, like, for their income and stuff, and they just get money to like spend all the time, and they probably focus so much, like insanely much on like making music or partying or networking and stuff like that, and they just think that the manager or someone else has their back, kind of, but they don't learn how money works or what happens or anything. I think it's like a lack of education, and also like a lack of managing themselves, or like stuff like that. There was this Norwegian footballer that made like a shit out of money, and he started to get managed by, I think it was like 16 years old or something. Then someone else started to take care of all this like financials. But they, and like he was making money, he was just spending because he had the money, and it was like a crazy life. And then when he got older, he didn't know how to pay bills. And if you're like 35, 40, and you don't know how to pay your own bills, then you have missed out on some like basic education when it comes to like your financials. And like he didn't know he didn't work on figuring out that you need a deposit in order to get a loan in the bank to get a house and all of that. It's just like all of that education just disappeared in the process, because he was focused on playing football and winning and then having fun afterwards. And I can understand that. It's just that it is so crazy when I'm just more of a normal guy. You know, I wipe my own ass every day.
You can't touch this. 𝗦ci𝗰𝗶 wasn't able to stay out of financial trouble. He bought more than 17 luxury cars, a private jet, 2 helicopters, and 21 racehorses.
It's like 2 helicopters. Why do you need 2? I get that people have more cars. Like, having more cars, it is crazy, but at the same time, it makes more sense. But maybe I don't know enough about helicopters, but I feel like a helicopter is a helicopter, but a car is not a car. But maybe that is just so like narrow-minded of me, because I'm not in this world, so I don't know. And 21 racehorses, that is very funny. That is many racehorses. But I guess if you bet on your own horse, you're always gonna win probably on the same racetrack if you have 21 racehorses.
Some of the horses were valued at around $1 million. Most of his expenses, however, were on his home. He bought a property in Fremont, California for $12 million and spent another $30 million on renovations to turn it into his dream home. He added a bowling alley, basketball court, baseball field, recording studio, movie theater, 17-car garage, tennis courts, and 2 swimming pools.
17-car garage. It's just like, I'm just imagining a normal garage and just like dragging it out very far, and then he gets 17 of the holes for the cars. It's wild. I'm thinking like here in my little brain, maybe that is what they would call me if I was a rapper, Lil Brain. But yeah, I don't think so. I think you disagree. But yeah, I'm dreaming of like a two-car garage. That would be nice. or just a 1-car garage with some extra space in it. To
the 40,000 square foot mansion.
But I'm not
one of the pools was shaped like his signature baggy pants that came to be known as hammer pants.
Yeah,
he added several marble statues of himself throughout the property and installed a gold hot tub in his bedroom.
Opened the stream and the welcome message was, I wipe my own ass. But it's true, I do. And John likes cakes. Good morning to you.
And to keep everything running smoothly, he employed a staff of nearly 200 people on the property, which cost him an estimated $500,000 a month.
$500K a month. That's a lot of money. Moolah a month.
Unsurprisingly, less than 5 years later, 𝗦ci Hammer had filed for bankruptcy, at which point it would be revealed that he hadn't only spent his entire $70 million fortune, but had also taken on a further $13 million in loans, which had been borrowed from over 200 different lending institutions.
200 different lending institutions. Do you think he did this himself? Do you think like he went, like asked all of these banks to get the money? Or do you think he had someone to do it for him and just push them? I need more money. I need more money. Give me more money. I need more money. I need more money. And then someone did it for him. Just like went to all the banks, just like, oh, I need to borrow $1 million. Please give me $1 million.
Despite having spent a total of $42 million on his California dream home, the property resold for only $6.5 million. However, if we're on the topic of expensive homes being repossessed by the bank, we need to talk about Birdman, who's ranked as the 15th richest rapper in the world with a net worth of $110 million.
Snoop Dogg is $143 million. I wonder if Snoop Dogg is... I think Snoop Dogg is pretty good at handling his money. I'm pretty sure he got like... There's a clip of Snoop Dogg being pissed off about the prices of GPUs. It was like, I'm not gonna pay that for GPU. And he just stuck with his like half crappy GPU. And that is kind of funny though. When he has like $150 million. Yeah, he spends all his money on weed. In one of his like later songs, he's like singing or like rapping about he used to pay $1 million. I think $1 million a year or a month or something on like weed, but now he gets all his weed for free. I think it's something like that in one of his songs. It doesn't need to be true, but I can believe it if it is true.
This is what makes Birdman's story unique. If he was worth over $100 million, why was his Miami mansion being repossessed by the bank for non-payment? Birdman had purchased the home back in 2012.
Look at this home. Just imagine like if I was behind this door and you guys were coming to me for a gathering and I was like opening the door, welcome in boys, let's party. I'm kidding. I would probably not party. I would probably be like, you want a cup of coffee?
$14.5 million.
I don't really like the doors. I feel like the doors were a little bit like, I'm not gonna say cheap, but a little bit cheap. Look at this door. Look at this down there. It looks like a pretty standard like balcony door. If I had this, I would have more like the door in the middle here for all of them.
Yet by 2017, a foreclosure suit had been filed by the bank, and quote, all personal items within the home, including platinum records gracing the walls, a pool table, and dozens of pairs of shoes.
They even took like his platinum record gracings on the wall. That is like, I feel like, okay, take everything, but just let the man have his platinum record, okay? Just this one thing, please.
Were all confiscated and placed in storage. The mansion was eventually sold by the bank for $10.85 million in July 2020. However, Birdman's lawyer has come out to explain the foreclosure, stating that it was the result of illegal loan terms set by the bank, so perhaps take Birdman's bankruptcy with a grain of salt. However, there's no ambiguity around how T-Pain went broke, as he's now come on multiple podcasts to explain just how brutal his bankruptcy was. T-Pain had built up a net worth of over $40 million at his peak in 2007, with all of his closest rap friends advising him that as long as he kept rapping, the money would keep on coming in.
Everybody before me.
That is bad advice. That is very bad advice. Don't think it's just gonna last forever. I said that earlier, didn't I? Is that the guy from Jackass?
That I had to look up to.
That's cool.
They were just like, no,
he
this is
has
great.
some super funny stories. The guy from Jackass, some cocaine stories and stuff. It's so funny. He was just a madman. Like, he wasn't just a madman in the Jackass movies. He was a madman in real life. Gee.
Once you start rapping, it's just money all the time. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. Your family's not gonna come after you. Just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
No.
For this reason, his spending began to get out of control.
Like I bought my Bugatti.
He bought it for $2.1 million.
$2.1 million.
I love his voice so much. It's such a cool voice.
Very shortly thereafter, you sold it for, all they gave you was $800,000.
Yeah.
So it was like renting a car.
He bought it for 2 point something, and then he sold it for $800,000. That is a sad investment, bro. I also had these sunshades, not necessarily the same ones, but it was like Minecraft sunshades.
Car for $1.3
probably not
million.
the same.
Yeah.
These were probably $100,000.
With the purchase of his Bugatti accompanying a $400,000 chain and houses for his workmates.
I got this house on
Did you see that chain?
$1,000.
I wouldn't wear this if you paid me for it, man. This is not for me.
Chain and houses for his workmates.
I got this house I wanted it. I got this other house for my assistants and, you know, all my runners and my producers and stuff.
Huh? He got houses for everyone? It's just like, our house. Some people go to the club and they like with the money, but he was like, house for you. He's basically Oprah. He's just like, house for you. It's Oprah 2.0.
So we bought a house after that, and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it.
Which was extra bad, as T-Pain never even checked in on how much money he had.
He
I didn't want to know because I was led to believe that this is just it's only gonna grow. Because these rappers.
I think this is relevant for very many of the cases we've seen so far. I think they probably got bad advice, and they had someone managing their money. They didn't need to themselves open like their bank account or whatever and then ship over money to buy something. They probably just pointed, I want this one, I want this one, I want that one, and someone else right behind them just paid for everything. I'm pretty sure, out of their bank account of course, but I'm pretty sure this is like relevant for almost all of them. I'm pretty sure there was like probably a little bit of a greasy guy behind there making a lot of money, just like, yeah, I'll fix it for you. You can afford that, no problem. You're really cool. You're a cool rapper. Blah, blah, blah.
Rappers told me that I'm just gonna make money forever. It's just gonna keep going up and up.
In the process, T-Pain began to create less music, and within a few years, his accountant was advising him that he was almost out of money.
My accountant was like, dude, you're like out of money. And I was like, no, I'm not.
That accountant should have said something like a long time ago. I feel like it should almost be, maybe not. I'm not that pro like having laws for everything, but it should be like almost like, what is it called? Like, you should have like some empathy. You should have some awareness, and the accountant should be like, you're spending way more than you're making. Just heads up. this is gonna turn out bad if you continue in this path and have like a small like lesson there. I feel like that accountant has like a duty to do that early on.
And while T-Pain seemed confident that he had plenty of cash left, reality set in for him after he'd have to borrow money just to buy food.
When you say you was broke, you had like zero.
Do you think people like him would believe / accept the argument? Maybe not. Maybe not. That's a good point. Maybe not. But maybe they have done that. Maybe they have told him. Or maybe he never really talked to the accountant. Maybe there were like 3 people between him and the accountant. It's so hard to know. It's so hard to know. $0
broke.
I like had to borrow money to get my kids Burger King.
What's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
40 million.
However, T-Pain was lucky to get away with a loss of only 40 million, as the final person on our list makes this.
I feel like 50 Cent, that was a huge deal when he went bankrupt. He was like, what? 50 Cent? 50 Cent is bankrupt? What the hell?
Number look like loose change, 50 Cent. 50 didn't only release the 10th best-selling American hip-hop album of all time, but he also made over $100 million on a vitamin water investment, plus a further $78 million from a luxury underwear deal.
That much?
In the late 2000s, 50 Cent made an estimated $300 million in only 2 years.
That is
so when it announced that he
wild.
was filing for bankruptcy in mid-2015, with debts totaling over $32 million, the entire world was thinking the same thing. How did this happen? Well, after 50 Cent uploaded a sex tape with Rick Ross's girlfriend, 50 was successfully sued for $7 million, which accompanied another court order for 50 Cent to pay $17 million to a headphone manufacturer after one of their collabs went sour. 50 Cent's clothing company, G-Unit Clothing, then fell out of the spotlight, which accompanied the closing of his movie company, G-Unit Productions, as well as his boxing company, SMS Promotions. Throughout the whole process, the global...
I wonder if with 50 Cent that it was like he was taking on too much. He probably using too much money, but also like did he just try too many things and multiple things failed at the same time? Or
financial crisis had taken a toll on the value of 50 Cent's
like a little
investments.
Bit like
By 2015, he was earning a comparatively small $185,000 per month. You could certainly argue that this was enough for 50 to get back on his feet. However, $108,000 of this monthly income was going toward an 18-bedroom mega mansion, while the remaining $77,000 was going toward menial expenses such as his gardener, with bankruptcy documents revealing that 50 Cent still owed money to his stylist, fitness coach, and even his barber. Despite this, he began to troll on social media with posts such as this one, spelling out the word broke with $100 bills, and within 2 years, 50 Cent had paid back $23 million worth of his $32 million debt. 50 Cent eventually got back to zero, and according to Google,
it seems like he took it upon himself to do something about it and fix it, and he worked probably relatively hard on that. Probably. So far, he seems like the smartest bankrupt rapper.
has built up a net worth of $40 million over the last 5 years.
Wow. Comeback. That is very cool. Damn. Damn. That was very interesting to see like rappers, man, and how they like approached getting a shit ton of money. Wow. Yeah. 40 minutes watch time. Yeah, and they're sure. True. That is how it is with reaction videos. I have game suggestion for you. Sweet Transit. Oh, I can put it on my list of things to like check out. Here. Thank you, 𝗦ci𝗰𝗶𝗹𝘀, man. He's like a child. Money grows on trees, right? Yeah. Might be a little bit like that. Hey, 𝗦ci, thank you so much for the squats and the jumping jacks and the hydrate and everything. I'll get on